Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Australian report for Wednesday, March 16. So we've been looking at this particular count here. It looks like we will push up higher, so we'll just we'll go long, but we'll just be a little bit sort of cautious and go step by step, and we'll have a look at CBA and see where that's up to as well. So as far as the crow flies, we'll keep this wave 4 here with wave 1 and 2 here and 1 and 2 here, and we can look for this to move up higher. So let's just cruise in and check on this count. So yeah, the 1 and 2 here, and then we've had this move up overnight, which is helpful. So let's just go to the hourly chart and check on this situation. So that goes over there. Now it's likely that this is wave 1 up here. The cash market will open higher, so we'll probably see a bit of a thing there, but we'll check on the S&P. Don't need that. So we should see at least this push up here, hoping that we'll get a little bit more than that as well. We'll have a look at the tick chart in a moment. So we're looking at wave 2 here and wave 2 here and then wave 2 here. So we'll be looking at trying to catch this pullback here. So we'll try to understand that a little bit better. Let's go to, but yeah, also just be mindful that I may not have, this count may not be right as well. So don't put the house on it. Let's just go to the tick chart and check on a few things. So this little move here, there's parts of it I can see, but I just really want to show you the S&P 500 on a 5-tick chart with a move up overnight. So we can look, if you've got a bit of a keen eye, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave to here or here with an expanded flat coming back this way. So we can look at all of that as wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3, a nice sideways move for 4 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, then an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here for wave 4. So we can label this, and should label it as 1. Well, that could go over to here, but it doesn't really matter that much. There's point 2 here, 3 here, 4 here, and 5 up here. I think that's finished at that point. So in the off hour, this will drift lower into some sort of ABC pattern and then have another push to the upside. Okay, so that's based on this impulse wave here. We should get another impulse wave. So with that in mind, we can assume that this is an impulse wave here, and a corrective wave here. Now it doesn't count very nicely like the US markets up here. Just having a bit of a look. It's more like this is wave 1 and 2 here. So it's a little bit of an odd bod situation here. It will reveal itself, I guess, as it goes on. But I think the important thing here is that what can happen here is it can move back into this space, but because the US markets were up overnight, it's likely that that some of the stocks will open higher. So we could end. I mean, Wednesday is normally a bit like a V-shaped day. It's kind of, it can open a little bit higher, trade down, and then be up for the day like that. That's how I see Wednesday, So just be a bit careful about that. So we might see something like this, and then closing higher, just to squeeze you out a little bit. So the idea would be to, first of all, to buy back in the box here. So that's doable at this point. You might need to adjust that. I've just taken that from here to here for that 61.8%, and yeah, so it doesn't quite count as 5 waves here, because if that would have to be a third wave, and that's a bit short unless I look at could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave. Oh, I could go that way. Yeah, I could put wave 1 already over here and wave 2 here. Let's just label that and check on that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bit of a long shot, but and then 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth and fifth here. That kind of makes sense. It's not too bad. So alrighty, and that makes it there. And then this would be wave 1 here then, and wave 2 to pull back. It might pull back a little bit there, but I think whatever you do, you know, have a small flutter to the upside. Don't overdo it, you know. It might not be like that then. I mean, if that's the case, then we'll just push up into, well, wave 3 should be a bit longer. I mean, you've got to expect a classic trading levels pattern across 72. So look, that's where that stands. And with the CBA here, I'll have a look at this on the intraday in a moment, but I still don't know. This line here, where it excuse me, where it touches on this gap here is at the 78.6. So that's the square root of 61.8%, because 61.8% is about here somewhere. So a little bit unsure about all of this here still. We could get trapped. So as I mentioned before, we were going to track 5 waves up here, and then we're going to have a pullback, and then we'll go long on wave B. So that's kind of what we're still going to do, because we could, you know, it can be that we have an A and a B and a C for wave 4 here, and then we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and 1 and 2 here, and then cruising to the upside. So that's all sort of doable at that point. But also too, it does present a possibility of looking at an A, B, C here for the A wave, and then an A, B, C for the B wave, and then down for the C wave. So, you know, resources are basically correcting at the moment, but they're going to push up. So while they're correcting at the moment, we'll see the banks rise up, and then when you know, gold and copper and all those sort of things and iron ore push up, then these will push back again down here, you know, to finish this leg off, and that would be in line with the S&P and those sorts of things. So, you know, that's why the ASX here, coming back to the ASX, we have to be careful about going up here. We could go 3, 4 and 5 and finish at that point, but finishing on 3 waves to the upside is not really not going to be the case. We'll end up getting another 5 up there. So going back to the 4-hour chart just for a moment, you know, it's a tricky thing, these the wave 4s, I have to say. I mean, this counting here as wave 1 is it's sort of okay, but it's, you know, there's problems with it. You could easily you could easily put it as a corrective sort of move. I'm just being a bit philosophical about it, you know, and putting other, you know, adding 1 and 1 together, you know, like having 7,000 as a nice support, and then we decided, well, that's good, but let's get the 7,100 and let's go long, you know. We also know the 7,200 through here, the 72 numbers, the old high, the old COVID high, and this is what all this is vibrating around, is the old previous high, and it's doing everything that it should be doing, really, in everything. So I need these. Yeah, so yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. Anyway, we just kind of go along with it, you know, but I mean, even if that was 5 waves up there and we're expecting another 5, well, then we'd still have to expect another 5 on top of that. Really, whichever way we look at it, it's not going to finish in 3 waves. It would have to finish as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 up here to that point. I mean, that could be a big B wave at that point and then come down, but which is possible. Just have a look at the daily chart for a moment, just to get my bearings a bit. You know, I mean, could all of this here, just, you know, shooting the breeze here, be an A wave here, then an A and a B and a C wave coming back up, you know, with 5 waves coming up here, and then coming down at that point, you know, and having this is a B wave over here for that, and a C wave over here. I mean, it's unlikely, but I mean, you know, I have to talk about these things. I mean, the only thing I didn't like about this correction is the wave C here was quite sharp, but the size of it is like perfect, you know, it's good. I suppose we could have, you know, if we looked at this as 5 waves down here, which is a little bit unlikely, but if we got philosophical about it, then we could have just 5 waves up here, as long as we didn't take out that high here, and then go down from that point. That's another way to look at it. So that's possible. So if we're going long, we should just really, that next 5 waves there, just be quite cautious about that. Let's go back to the tick chart here for a moment. Yeah, so really we just need to be cautious here. So what we'll do, if you do go along here and we get lucky, say, because we'll take profit here and then we'll wait for a classic trading levels pattern. Okay, so that's the plan. And if we get a classic trading levels pattern here, we'll just put this here as the arrival and the reaction and the first high above the level, and then the ABC pattern here. And if we're going to go, we'll either go higher or we'll go lower from that point, but this will sort us out here. We'll use that there. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. I think we've worked through that reasonably well. Let's go back and have a look at CBA. So this little move up here, I did have a bit of a look at it. So let's go in there and count away. So I was thinking that as an impulse wave, it would look like this. So from the low there, we'll look at wave 1 and 2, and 1 and 2, and 1 and 2. Could probably get another 1 and 2 in there. I better double check that. But then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for the third wave, and then 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third. Got the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for this fifth wave here. So this, we'll just keep sort of tuning this in as we go, okay? So, and then this one here for the third wave, and then the fourth wave and the fifth wave here. So we can just copy that. That will give us our 5 waves to the upside. And as I mentioned before, we'll be going long above here, unless we can see a reason to buy back in this point, but that would be a bit risky at that point. But we maybe as that moves up there, we might be able to do something. But that's that leg there anyway. You could go long here if you wanted to, you know. I mean, there's nothing sort of stopping you going long there. There'll be further upside there. Rightio, so let's move along and check out the resources. So the resources are correcting and the banks are moving up. So that's what we need to be careful of with iron ore here. We're looking at wave 1 and then back for wave 2, then up for wave 1 and then back for wave 2 in the box here. We have to be careful that we didn't really get a good ABC pattern here, so all of this could be a B wave up here and we come down for the C wave. So I don't know that, but if I go to the tick chart here and then just sort of check on this little area here, bring in a bit more data. I don't know how much we need. More. Okay, so right, so we had our wave 1 here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're thinking about this here being possible. So then we're looking at this being wave 1 here, and then we need to look at this as the A wave, the B wave here, and the C wave here. So I would assume that, I mean, first of all, we need 5 waves in the C wave, so we'll just put this here. And then that would be 1 and 2, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. So that's going to be the third. This will be the fourth. I mean, it could be more bearish, but I'm just looking at this first. So that would be that lower end here. That's the 61.8%. Just double check that. Could that be an A, B, C to that point? It's one possibility. 3, 4 looks an A wave. Can I call that wave 3 in there? It's a little bit dodgy doing that, isn't it? Wave 3 may only be here. Anyway, okay. Anyway, we're close. We don't have our impulse wave up here, so we'll get something like this, and possibly another correction on this tier 2 and then up from that point. But it doesn't really matter how that sort of ends. Well, anyway, once it matures, I will be able to kind of figure things out a bit better. But as I mentioned before, being above the 800 here, with a classic trading levels pattern here, that will set us on fire at that point. So with that in mind, we don't know. The other point here too is that this could just drift down further, you know, deeper into this space here where this wave 2 needs to be. So that's something that we don't know about just yet. So it's just something we're just working through. Yeah, but anyway, long above the B wave as normal, but the 800 will do that. We'll try to keep refining it, you know, because we start here, and then we go to the B wave, and we can go to wave 2. That's pretty safe, and then we can go to the 800 here. Can we buy down here? Well, we need some clear signals and levels, and we might be able to use the 750 and so on and so on. You know, between 700 and 800, we've got 1, 2, 3, 5, and then 8 here. And when we talk about 8, we talk about group 2 and so on and so on. So yeah, we can just keep refining it and nailing it down. But the idea of doing that really is just to get, well, BHP, for example. Stochastics is pulling back on the daily, which is nice. It has dropped a bit lower. We're expecting it to drop lower. So, excuse me. I mean, look, the bottom line is if it takes this out here, then we're going to have to look at wave 2 being over here for that, you know. It doesn't kind of matter at this point. We don't have our setup here just yet. And like I said, this wave 1 here could be over here. And if that's the case, we'll see. I can see there's 2 or 3 different ways of looking at this. Let's just go back to the beginning, and I'll just put that up there. No matter what happens, this little space here, that's the buy box at that point. But we don't want to buy in there. We just want to, you know, acknowledge that. And anyway, a bit more work to do here. And FMG, we're looking at this as, well, we knew that that had 5 waves in it, so we knew that after a correction we'll get another 5. So in this case we've got 1 and 2, and we're in for the third wave. We're looking for 5 waves. That's going to take us down a bit further. So that's 1 and 2, so I could just bring this down here for 3. Oh, it didn't work. There'll be a 4 and 5 here, so it will be something like that. Mind you, it's come down pretty deep, isn't it? Oh well, we'll just sort of play it out. We'll see how iron ore goes. And Rio here, we were looking at wave 1 being up here. Wave 2's coming back pretty low as well for the A wave here. We're trying to get inside of this here, but I'll have to look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So that's still got to drop down. That's going down pretty low at that point. Down in the 78.6. I mean, is it possible to look at this as some sort of ABC in here? I don't think so just yet, so we'll just have to stay with that for the time being. The gold market's coming down here, so what we can do here is, this is the box here in this case, so 50-60%. So let's just take these, borrow these here for a moment. So we've got our A wave, our B wave and our C wave down here. So I'm not quite sure about that, but we still need a fourth wave here. I'm not seeing a fourth wave pop out of the trend. The fourth wave normally breaks the trend, so that will be there somewhere, and then we'll have this here. So that will be the pullback at that point. So that's what we're looking for with gold there. I do need to have a look at, this might not be what gold bugs want to see, but let me just freak you out for a moment. I think it could be this chart. Yeah. That may not be the case, but we just need to be aware of it. So this is a weekly chart, or 2 weeks actually. So we can have wave 3 here with an A wave here, an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave here, and then come down here for the C wave, and then go to the upside. Anyway, we're going to be keeping an eye on this situation. But it's possible, okay? But if this is wave 1 up here, then that would suit a lot of the gold stocks that we're looking at, and using Newcrest as a bit of a guiding light here. So in this case, we're looking for wave 2 to pull back. So I think that we could look at this as the A wave, the B wave and the C wave down here. But we won't worry about it just yet. We want it to come down a bit further. I want to find support here. So one of the things that I'm looking at is, I'm wondering, is this going to be wave 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5? And then we have an ABC, or is that the ABC in here already? So basically from here, is this the A, the B and the C wave to this point? Or is this 1 and 2 in here, and 3 here and 4 here and then 5 here? Because if we get 5 waves here, then we're going to get an ABC pattern coming in, and then we're going to get another 5 coming in, you know. So that's the difference at that point. So we need to figure that out. But I don't have any I don't have any price action here to view that. But that's what we need to be looking at. But it's always nice, I find, that if it drops below the closest largest number, below the level, and then comes back up and gives us a classic trading levels pattern here, and that's something that we can use as a nice solid safer setup to the long side. So that's what we're sort of looking at. So yeah, I mean, it's been a bit of a patience, this one here, hasn't it? Because we sort of picked it up here, but we knew that we'd be getting 5 waves up and then we'd get an ABC pattern back, and so it's taken quite a while, but I think we've done all the right things at the right time, so I'm happy about that. And we'll just look for the setup here. But like I said, that if that other chart that I just showed you on US spot gold, a big B wave up here, then that makes me be bit more cautious about getting the right setup here, because this could just drift lower at that point too. The Australian dollar. So with the Australian dollar, we're looking for, well, there's 2 things we have to be mindful of. One of them was an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave into the box here. Now, being in the box here anyway is going to give us some support in this area. The thing is, we can put that there. The little move up here doesn't look like it's an impulse wave. We were talking about taking some money off the table there. The move down here is likely to be wave 1 with an A wave. A little bit sharp for a B wave there, or at this stage, but we'll just go with that for the time being. We're looking for a C wave up there. Now we're looking for this 50-60%. Let's just check on that. It can come a little bit lower. Will it get that far? Don't know. You know, the thing is this block here is going to be the block over here for that, you know, so it may not get to that point. But it does mean that if we just copy this, if we are going to be looking lower, then we can short below there again as well. Now, the idea of taking a percentage off at the 72 was to be for us to be able to leave the stop out of the way up here. So you either take all the money off, or you take a percentage off, and we'll leave the stop up there. Now, of course, if we get a move up to this point here, and then it starts to look down at that point, then we'll move that stop over to this point. And then we've got to look to build back in over here as well. So we might look for a better short trade entry up here, but at the moment, this is where we're up to at the moment. It has moved down quite sharply, quite nicely as a third wave, you know. So that's the other side that we're looking at. This is 1 and 2, and then 1 and 2, and then heading down lower for wave 3. So this wave 3 here should be longer than wave 1. So this wave 1 here, so this 2 here, this wave 3 here should be longer than this move here. So that's kind of worth hanging out for, really. And we're in wave the third of the third here. And we'll try to get the next one as well. So we'll try to get the third of the third of the third. Alrighty, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.